the American Small Business League podcast. I am Bruce Latoris. With me as president and founder, Lloyd Chapman. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm in Canada today.
Nice. And we want to talk about the censorship you are experiencing and that you've also researched and could really teach a class on the level, the extent of the censorship on X.com. Talk to me about that.
Well, here's what I would recommend. I'm sure at this point in time, everyone has some type of AI software, right? You've got, was it Grok? I use Perplexity, Chat, GPD, whatever it is. Go into any of those AI software programs and say, is it true that multiple entities have the capability to suppress content on X? And see what happens,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Ask any AI software, how many AI censorship programs has the government created that are currently active on social media platforms?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Which country has been successful in having the most content removed from X?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
see what you pop up, right?
It's astounding.
I've been experimenting with this for a couple of years now. And there is absolutely no question, zero question, that there is no free speech on X. None. Zip. Nada. Um, gosh, I've seen countless comments from people that say they're being censored, right? Quite frankly, here's a good one. Go to any AI software and say, is it true that any post that mentions the word Gaza, or excuse me, genocide, will be suppressed? So go to any AI software and say, is it true that any post on X that has the word genocide will be suppressed? It'll come back and go, yes. That means there's no free speech, right? Um, I have, what is it, 17,800 followers. If you go look at my account on X, I'm getting less than 100 views on my post. That's impossible. Ask Perplexity that. Ask Perplexity, say, what's the likelihood that someone with over 17,000 followers would get less than 100 views on their post? Not likely. It's pretty much impossible, right? Um, I've boosted some of my posts, and I you probably remember this, but I think it had like 300,000 views on something that I boosted, right? It had like 11 views or 11,
Yeah.
excuse me, 11 comments. So you're supposed to get about around 1% of your followers, you know, comment. And I've had posts that had, was it over 300,000 a couple of weeks ago? You remember that one?
That sounds like the right
Yeah.
number.
I think it had like 11 comments. That's impossible. Also, by the way, a couple of years ago, I was getting up to 3 million views a day. Now, how do you go from 3 million views a day down to 100? How's that happen, right? I'll tell you something happened, by the way. I don't know if I told you this or not, but a few days ago, a year's worth of posts disappeared off my account. Did I tell you
Yeah.
that? A
Yes.
year.
And then what happened? Yeah.
And so I went to Perplexity and I said, is it true that X removed over years of posts on Lloyd Chapman's thing? And it came back and said, yes. And then within moments, it was restored. Right. But yeah, I over a year, maybe 18 months of posts disappeared, and it went back to the campaign when I was campaigning for Bobby. How long ago was that, right?
Yeah.
So the last post that I saw when they erased them was a video I made here on the beach in Canada talking about Bobby, and it had 1.8 million views. And then within moments of posting that perplexity thing, that my posts had been removed, boom, they came back, right? So yeah, just look at my account and look at any of my posts. By the way, I don't post like most people. I don't really it's not my style of communication, just talk about my opinion. I've done, dozens of national TV appearances, and I never just, here's what I think. I talk about statistics. I go, here's what the Census Bureau says, here's what, right? And so I post responses to questions that I put on Perplexity. So the majority of my posts, I'd say 90%, are questions that I ask Perplexity, and I post Perplexity's response to it, right? And but yeah, it's impossible to have the number of followers that I get. By the way, here's another thing: none of my followers can see my post. None of them, not one. All the people that respond to me are not my followers. Think about that. So only non-followers respond, and none of the followers respond. And by the way, most of the responses, if you look at my account, are attacks. I'm not a big fan of the genocide in Gaza, right? And yeah, I'm not a big fan of 20,000 innocent children being killed. And I talk about that and post responses for Perplexity on that. And most of what I get is attacks from bots. You can tell they're bots because they got no followers, right? And it's
Mm,
obviously a bot. They'll have
mm,
no followers and typically no original post. All their posts will be RTs, or they might just have like maybe two or
mm.
three posts, right? So yeah, I get inundated with bots attacking me
R,
primarily, not my
RTs,
followers. People don't even follow me. But
R,
I think Lloyd
RTs are
Chapman,
RTs are retweets. RTs are
yeah,
retweets, right?
yeah. So if you want to know how extensive the censorship is on X, and that Musk lied to us when he said there's free speech, look at Lloyd Chapman's account. Lloyd Chapman with 17,800 followers, and I'll get. Quite frankly, here's another funny thing: if you look at my post, they'll have like 53 views, 56 views, 54, 51, like that. They're all right in the 50s. It's, how can that be? How can you get like between 50 and 55 views on, 50 different posts,
Right.
right? But yeah, there's no free speech on X. And here's something, by the way, that I'll tell you. In fact, I want to mention this in case, I wind up dead. I went on Perplexity and I said, as you know, I posted some criticism of the genocide in Gaza, like millions of other people, and I paid to boost it. And it said I had 300,000 views, but only like 11 comments. And I started asking Perplexity questions. And if you pay X to boost your post and they don't boost it and they fabricate the number of views like you and I know they did with me, that's fraud. That's breach of contract and fraud. So I went to Perplexity and I said, if someone were to file a class action lawsuit against X for breach of contract and fraud for fabricating the number of views on their post, Perplexity said I would win. And then I went in and said, what would the likely damages be if someone filed a lawsuit against X for breach of contract and fraud? It said millions and billions, right? Let's be sure we get this video lots of views, right? Because yeah, a lot of people wouldn't want to see what would happen if they sued X, right? It would
Hmm.
reveal who actually controls it. Of course, it's the Pentagon, right? Uh, I guess it was over a year ago. I learned about AI chatbots and AI censorship programs, and I
Hmm.
asked Perplexity, how many U.S. government uh, sponsored, created AI censorship programs are on social media. It came back, there's like a dozen. And they say it's to control hate speech. So under the guise of controlling hate speech, they control all speech and they suppress free speech. Here's the thing: hate speech is free speech. You can hate anybody you want to. It's America, the Constitution, First Amendment, free speech. Yeah, so you can go on X and do hate speech. Hate speech is free speech, people, and it's protected under the First Amendment. So yeah, under the guise, I heard Russell Brand use this term. Is it confabulate? Is that the word? He
Yeah.
says they're confabulating hate speech and free speech. So under the guise of controlling hate speech, they're actually suppressing free speech.
Hmm.
But yeah, go into any AI software and ask it what WISEDEX is, WISE capital DEX, or Civil Sanctuary. They're government AI censorship programs. By the way, go into any AI software and ask it how many AI censorship programs are active on social media sites around in America. There's dozens, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You can pay, you can buy to have an AI censorship program on X to suppress anything you want. It's not that expensive. If you go back and look at who created these programs, there's some university in Chicago or someplace like that
Hmm.
that created these things. I think it costs, I don't know, uh, less than $1 million or a million
Hmm.
two, something like that. It's not that expensive. So if you
Hmm.
want to, you can have someone create an AI censorship program that suppresses any post that mentions donuts.
Hmm.
Right?
Right.
I
Right.
remember 2 years ago um, reading something that they found code buried in Twitter that suppressed certain people, certain topics, and someone mentioned the fact that small business was a topic that's suppressed.
I remember you telling me
So
that.
in America in 2025, if you mention genocide, that's going to get suppressed. If you mention small business, that's going to get suppressed. And that's
Okay.
that's that's hard code in Twitter's or X's algorithm, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's shocking. I think most people don't understand the magnitude and the depth and the extent of censorship on X. Um, yeah,
It's interesting. It's a fascinating topic, and on some of the news sources I'm tapped into that I get more feeds every day than I can look at. I'm starting to glance. I haven't studied it. This concept of the dead internet. There are some commentators now, Lloyd. I haven't told you this before, who are saying this kind of toxic manipulation and shutdown and creepy manipulation on many platforms, social media, I guess the most, that there's something of a plateau or maybe even a decrease in usage. And trend watchers are saying there's either already a migration away from internet use. I've got to study it. I'm just going from the hip here.
yeah,
But again, it's this concept that we're over it already. We're over it already. And the dead internet as a concept out there, I infer that to mean it won't be long before we put this in our rearview mirror. It's not going to be
yeah.
anytime soon. We're too dependent on it, but we won't tolerate it. It's not healthy, and it's becoming useless.
I like to talk about facts, not just my opinion. And I believe that AI software goes out in the world, all information on Earth, it gives you responses, right? Go to any AI software you want to pick and say, is it true that up to 74% of the activity on social media sites is from bots? It'll come back and go, yes,
Yeah,
up to 75%,
yeah.
right?
So
Um,
who can take that seriously? Who's
Now,
going to
most
waste
of
their
the
time?
content,
Yeah.
yeah, the majority of the content on X is from bots and fake accounts. I can't think of the difference between a bot and a fake account, but there's some difference. But yeah,
Mm.
most of the activity on X is from AI chatbots, fake accounts, and not real people.
They're
Every
making.
day, all
Yeah.
day long, I'm not dealing with real people. And by that, it doesn't bother me because uh, no one can see what I say. I recognize that. No real person can see what I say. Here's another thing that I notice. You know, when you go on X and there's like a row of the accounts that liked what you said. When I
Yes.
click on them, when you go across the line, they all have like less than 50 followers, which I believe are all fake accounts. So my observation, people go look at it, go look at Lloyd Chapman's account on X,
Right. Right.
and I don't think one real person can see what I'm saying.
What keeps you involved on X, knowing what you know?
I'll tell you, I'm building evidence for a class action lawsuit. So I don't go on X to be heard because I know no one can see my post, but I'm going on there to build evidence for a class action lawsuit against X for breach of contract and fraud. That's why I'm on X, right?
Okay.
Because I know no one sees it. But
Gotcha.
I'm
Okay.
mainly fighting, foreign trolls and bots, right? So what
Right.
I do
Right.
is
Right.
they'll say something, they'll say, something rude. They'll say you're a moron, something like that. I'll respond to that with 5 to 10 things from perplexity, right? That they don't like,
Mhm.
right? So I'll go to some bot's account and I will respond to their stuff with these perplexity things. Again, you got to go look at my account to see it, right? But yeah, my main
No, that
focus on
explains.
X.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been doing this, by the way, for about 2 years now. So for about 2 years, I've been gathering evidence for a class action lawsuit because and Perplexity agrees with me that X. This is very important. Ready? Watch this, people. X is guilty of breach of contract and fraud for censoring our post. They shouldn't censor any of your posts. Anything you say is free speech, right? But Perplexity says that that if X is suppressing your post and you haven't broken their rules, that's a breach of contract. But yeah, there. So the truth is, by the way, I used to love Elon Musk. I used to just really love him. Right? I want to go work in Tesla for free. I literally just want to go work. I'll work for free. I just want to be in the building. I want to be around this. Right? And then I started going on X and getting suppressed, and I've completely changed my opinion on him. He promised free speech.
Yeah.
He told us, I saw an interview. He said, "I'm buying this to give the American people free speech."
We
How
know a
about
lot of
this?
people.
Go into Perplexity or any AI software and say, is it true that since Elon Musk purchased Twitter, that they're complying with more government takedown requests than Twitter did?
Hmm.
It'll go yes. So since Musk has purchased Twitter, there's more censorship. So you can ask the question any
Yeah.
way you want to, but if you go on any AI software and say, is it true that on X there's a higher level of censorship of posts than there was when it was Twitter? It's going to go yes, right?
Well, it reinforces the old idea oligarchs are not our friends.
Nope. Well, you know what? Someone's got something on Musk for him to do that. He's a virulent free speech advocate. That's the kind of guy he is, and yet
Hmm.
he's sitting there and letting multiple entities suppress your comments. I'm gonna say that again: multiple entities. So the Pentagon has multiple AI chatbots. I know Israel's got some, right? I believe the oil and gas industry has AI censorship programs on X, right? I was sitting right over there one day, and I posted something about the fact that we're giving the oil and gas industry, I think, 20 billion a year in subsidies, and they pay no income tax. My engagement plummeted 90%.
Right.
Now, right? Is it a coincidence that I
No.
that I wrote a post about the fact we're giving 20 billion a year in subsidies to the oil and gas industry, and Exxon Mobil and I think Chevron pay no income tax? And within hours, my engagement dropped 90%. I don't think that's the day that I realized that private industry has AI censorship programs on X,
Right,
right?
and then you've done this voluminous. Your profile is really great for those perplexity questions and answers that you have there. If somebody really went through all of them, they'd be something of a, really a force to be reckoned with the knowledge about all
Yeah,
this.
I don't post, here's what I think.
Right,
I kind of win any arguments with that. I just go to Perplexity and say, is it true, you
right,
know, that there are multiple
hmm,
Pentagon-funded AI censorship programs on
right,
social media platforms? He goes, yeah,
right,
like
right.
WiseDex, Civil Sanctuary. I think, yeah, there's several of them.
Yeah,
But
it's a
people have
yeah.
no idea um, the
No,
magnitude and the depth of censorship on X. People have
well,
no idea.
no. But if they go to your profile on X, for a nice episode, Lloyd, did we capture kind of good beginning,
Yeah,
middle, and end?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good, and we'll see what happens. But I'm fascinated by Perplexity's responses. That I've got if X is guilty, what I believe they're guilty of, that I've got a solid uh, grounds for a lawsuit against X for breach of contract and fraud. We'll see.
Yep, people should go to your profile on X and read a lot of that and decide for themselves and see if they want to do anything to help. All right, I want to thank you, Lloyd, and I want to thank everybody for watching and listening today.